Hello friends, welcome to Acharya 90 FM, your own radio. Myself Tejaswini. Today in our guest interview, we have invited Mr. Bhuvan Mhatre, and welcome sir to our Acharya 90 FM radio station.
Thanks, Tejaswini. Happy to be here.
He is working past 15 to 16 years in the field of architecture. I think they are having their own family business. So our college, Acharya College, is also having architecture faculty. So we will be taking more inputs from Bhuvan and regarding architecture, how he studied and how he pursued all the knowledge in architecture, and how for the future students or future generation, he will be guiding us on how to take admissions, how to take all the knowledge about architecture, and of course how to build the buildings finally. So Bhuvan, you're from Chembur, right?
Yes, so born and brought up in Chembur. My father says that I'm the 8th generation in the house that we stay.
Okay, that's great. So you have a lot of love for Chembur.
Lot of love. So I've declined a lot of job opportunities in other cities, in other countries, because I wanted to stay in the same house that I was brought up in.
Okay, so good family bonding you are having. So how you thought of going to architectural field? Because since your father wasn't in this field, that's why you pursued architecture, or it was your liking towards architecture?
So as a kid, I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer.
Oh.
So I pretty much was studying for IIT, and my goal was to get into aeronautical engineering. But during the final JEE exam, I sort of relaxed my own speed, and so my ranking came a bit low.
Okay.
And that's when in circumstances you make certain decisions that change your life. So father has always been an architect, has been practicing for the longest time.
Yeah.
At that point of time, I thought it reasonable and maybe also the right thing to do was to pursue architecture in the same college. So where
your dad
in IIT only.
Okay.
They had architecture faculty. So I applied for architecture as an option. I got in. I had to give the aptitude exam. Thanks to dad's genetics, I was able to clear the aptitude exam without any preparation. But yeah. So then, and that's how the architectural journey began for me.
Yeah, and I think you would put more light on how to prepare for aptitude of architecture, the test which you said just now.
Right. So basically, the aptitude test for architecture is mainly to test the student's creativity and how the student can visualize things. You know, when you are studying for engineering or for medicine, you're pretty much your study is related to text and not to graphics as much. So the aptitude test is mainly to check as to how well you can draw bird's eye views, worm's eye views, understand the difference between the two, isometric views. So as long as the student understands the theme of creating perspectives and three-dimensional views, how to visualize whatever and portray on paper what he or she intends to design. Once you prepare yourself for that, pretty much the aptitude test becomes a simple thing to sort of tackle.
Okay. And what exactly we learn during the syllabus of architecture? I think it's a 4 to 5 years course, right?
So yes, so at least from my perspective, the Bachelor of Architecture program that I did was a 4.5-year study program, and for further half year of internship. Okay. So that totaled to 5 years, and we were awarded a degree after the completion of 10 semesters. And pretty much what I understand is even today the format is the same. Okay. It's just that the internship period has been changed. So we had our 10th sem as the internship. Okay. But many colleges nowadays pull it back to the 9th sem, and 10th sem is their thesis, so that you get some external experience and bring it back to your thesis project.
Okay.
So I think it's a good change that has happened in the recent years after I graduated. So yeah.
Yeah. So more of practical knowledge is given to the students
prior to touching your thesis. So yeah.
Okay. And I've seen the students whenever we travel in trains or buses, they carry all those folders with the huge bags. What are those they carry?
That's the fun part of architecture. So it's a good thing that all the teachers and faculty, they insist that in the initial years at least you know do not give your relationship with pen and paper.
Okay.
Right now everything is digital. You can design everything on
Ah.
laptop. You can design it on computers. But you know the start is pretty much to draw sketches on paper. So
Okay.
pretty much they're carrying their portfolios, their old portfolios, and we used to call them drums.
Okay.
So that they are pretty much carrying their T squares, which is the instrument that you use to draw parallel lines,
Okay.
and helps in drawing orthogonal drawings while you're drafting, you know, plans or elevations, etc.
Okay.
So pretty much that's what the architect's bag includes.
Okay, it's a huge baggage. I thought first of all, we see all the art lovers, they have those huge baggage with them. But I think those are signboards or making some presentations on them.
Yeah, the portfolios also, no? So
Okay.
you intend to show your friends and your family and your teachers the portfolio of sketches. Your portfolios generally, depending on the size
work
of
you
sketches,
with,
are sort of large. So yeah.
Okay. And after graduating or after taking the degree of architecture, how the students should go for opt for the job, or how to take the knowledge in practical training?
See, so you know, my father has always mentioned this, and I have seen it in my practice, and I agree with most of the things. I personally believe what I'm going to say now
Yeah.
is architecture, your profession as a lawyer, and your profession as a doctor
Okay.
are similar in nature. Although you do different kind of work, it is in the end a profession. And for any profession, you need training and internship. You can't just learn a profession from you know, your college or from books.
Yeah.
So you need to intern under an expert. Any doctor, if you talk to any student who is practicing medicine, that person has to practice under a dentist or under a skilled surgeon
Yeah.
to then himself start becoming a surgeon.
To get specialization.
Similar with lawyers, and hence the same goes for architects. I would always recommend, you know, that before pursuing higher studies, masters in urban planning, masters in urban design, masters in architectural engineering, or any such courses, just dive into the field, work under some good architects for a period of maybe 1.5 years, 2 years. Although today's generation wants everything fast, but you have a decently long enough life actually. So you know, spend those 2 years in understanding what you really want to do, and then pursue your masters over there, and then you always have time. I mean, don't rush into starting your own firm, because then when failure hits you at a younger age, you are not able to rebound that fast.
Okay.
From a maturity angle.
Yeah. And past 7 years, you have experience in project management and have handled the projects for several multinational clients like Bank of America, then Citibanks and Procter and Gamble. Various other names are also included.
Yeah.
So, how was your experience handling all these companies, multinational companies, and how you tackle all these situations?
So, my father's one mandate was that after completing architecture, do not come to my firm
Acha.
for 5 years at least.
Okay.
So, luckily we had this company called Jones Lang LaSalle. It's a merger of an American and a European company. It's a big property consultant, international property consultant. They came for campus placements. I got hired directly from IIT Roorkee into Jones Lang LaSalle. My first assignment there was Bank of America, and I was working for you know, the refurbishment of their fit outs in Express Towers in Nariman Point. So that, and then from there we graduated to ANZ Bank, to Citibank, Computer Associates, and many such multinational companies we worked for. My job initially was not the creative angle of architecture, but more so the execution angle of architecture. So there was a design firm would design, and as a project management firm for JLL, I used to ensure that the execution, the procurement of contractors, the certification of invoicing, the quality checks of execution were done. So that was my major role, and I sort of did that role for a period of 7 years, and it was fun working with multinationals. You know, when you work for a multinational, they bring these best practices not just in terms of execution, but in terms of documentation from places like Europe, from places like America. So it's very systematic. You mitigate your risks. Your chances of failure is low. Your attention to quality management is much better than what I've generally seen. When we practice just within India, within that smaller realm, the quality management is completely different, and that's what sets working for a multinational apart from working just locally.
Yeah, and I think now in Chembur also there are very classic buildings we can see. So are you thinking of from your organization, from your dads and your contribution towards Chembur in building up such buildings? Have you thought of any future plans?
Yeah, so we already are working on. My father has for 40 years been constructing buildings.
Okay.
He's done multiple projects in Chembur. Mostly, my father has done hospitals and nursing homes in Chembur.
Wow.
So and multiple, so I can't even count them.
Acha.
After that, he's done a lot of residential projects in Ghatkopar, in Vile-Parle,
Okay.
in that area. Currently, we've got 2 projects going on. One in Ghatkopar on R.B. Mehta Marg, another one in Chembur between the 13th and 14th road of Chembur. So yeah, I mean that contribution towards Chembur has not reduced.
Yeah.
We are also working on an architectural and skill college, which is the Vasantdada Patil College. So we are the architects for that, and the building has now received CC.
Okay.
So that's just near the Priyadarshini circle.
Okay. And I've heard that you should have some good bonding with the politicians and all the. We have to sanction some documenting or memorandum, right? So could you put more light on that? What exactly you will have to make a relationship with the government and other personalities?
So, any execution work comes with its own challenges in terms of securing approvals. And
Yeah.
those approvals are for the good, actually. If there's no regulation, then, anyone can make anything. The whole thing that, so many slums came out in Dharavi
Yeah.
was because at that point of time, no one regulated those structures being constructed over there. So, regulations as such are a good thing. But sometimes, these regulations become a tough thing to circumvent. And that's why you can see the government is sort of trying to work towards these single window clearances.
Yeah.
So that, this for a common man and for common people to go to multiple entities and seek approval, that does not remain a challenge. Now our approvals have come online as well. So now that approvals have come online, that whole avenue of you wanting or having to interact with officers has sort of reduced significantly, due to which the work is becoming much more simpler, much more speedier. Yes, I mean in the earlier days you had to have contacts with the officers, etc. But pretty much it completely depends on architects to architects. As long as you followed the rule books and you made design in line with the statutory regulations, we haven't faced any challenges as such in terms of wanting to seek any special attention from any authority as such. The files have moved clearly. Sort of a thing.
No, I was asking about the tenders you need to fill. And now I got the word tender. You have to submit the tenders, and we have to, in that particular time, there is a time limit to submit your tender, right?
So, let us just say my father participated in one tender long back. He was also awarded for the tender, and he did the inauguration wherein his photo was printed in the newspaper with Sunil Dutt. On the side. So both of them, Mr. Sunil Dutt sir inaugurated the Andheri railway station, and dad was the architect for that.
Okay.
But these government tenders, they come and they go at the speed in which the projects happen is slow.
Yeah.
The
Time
success
consuming,
of completion of the project has been low. So after that project, we decided to pretty much work on private projects more than government projects. However, that doesn't stop us from working for NGOs and not for profits. So there are a lot of projects like schools, We are doing Indian Registrar of Shipping is another current
Wow.
client of ours,
Okay.
which is a not-for-profit
Yeah.
ship licensing agency.
Okay.
So we work for those agencies where we try to skip or avoid the whole government tender process because of the length and time and effort to do that, rather than actually focus on design.
Okay.
So we pretty much try to focus more on design and execution than around the whole winning the project part.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I had that curiosity how you sanction get the tenders and all. That's why I asked you that question. Anyway, now we'll switch on. Architect is it's a part and parcel of life. It is there in every section. Like, as you said, we have to build a school, we have to build a hospital. Architecture is required everywhere, in hotel also.
Yeah.
But to save the energy, save the life of Earth, and to prevent pollution and other whatever drawbacks the Earth is facing today, in that context, how you help the architects? What would you guide the architects?
So my father's firm has been called Mhatre Architect. It's gone by their name. The firm that I have started is called Optimal Entropy.
Okay.
Okay, and what optimal entropy means? Entropy is the measurement of chaos.
Okay.
And the second law of thermodynamics says that chaos in this whole world will
Yeah.
only increase.
Yeah.
It can never reduce.
Yeah.
So it is our endeavor as this firm to try and optimize the increase of chaos. And that's where our philosophy is: do not do anything, any change, do not bring any change that you do not believe is mandatorily required. And do not stop any natural change that is naturally happening. So do not put a barricade in that change unnaturally.
Yeah.
So that's the principle that we use in all our designs. We also do approvals. So even in the philosophy of approvals and philosophy of making feasibility reports for our clients, our philosophy is not to ensure that the project happens at any cost.
Yeah.
Our philosophy is to evaluate the projects in a complete all-round aspect and present to the client the all-round financial, social, and environmental impact that the project may bring. And then obviously, I mean, it's the client's land and the client's decision to take that step. But as consultants, we try and do our part in educating the client as to what impact their project will have on the environment, and we try to sort of control it that way. Even in our designs, we try to consciously implement certain aspects of sustainability. I myself have done lead AP, accredited professional. So it's a US based sustainability certification program.
Okay.
It trains you how to consciously design sustainable buildings.
Yeah.
So that education has helped me in implementing that in our practice.
Yeah, as we see, most of the buildings, they cut the trees and they build the building. Instead, they can utilize that space in making the trees and keeping the life of the tree, and they also redesign the building using the trees around. So lastly, I would ask you, what would you give, say, advice to the future architects?
I would
You are
say,
also young, yeah, but still then.
yeah, I would say patience is one of the most important things as an architect. Do not lose patience anywhere. I mean, good things come to those who wait.
Yeah.
And if you really like this, obviously do not come to this field because you've been forced by your parents. Do not come to this field because your friends are going to it.
Yeah.
Do not come to this field because everyone thinks that okay, Are, you are good at it, so you can do it. Come to this field only if you feel that you have interest in doing it. And if you have interest in anything and you do that work now, pretty much I've seen that people who excel in their work are people who are interested in that work. So become an architect if you really have a passion for making buildings, for designing interiors, for for creativity. If that's your passion, this is the field for you. But patience is pretty much key. I mean, the younger generation is, I can see they do something today and they want the result tomorrow.
Yeah.
There are failures, there are successes, but my experience, if you love what you do, there are more successes than failures.
Yeah.
So that's the advice that I can give.
Thank you, Bhuvan, for your association with Acharya 90 FM, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors, and you make good buildings in Chembur and all over the world, I should say.
Hopefully.
And thank you for joining on Acharya 90 FM. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So friends, we had today Bhuvan Mhatre in our guest interview. He is a young architect and practicing in Chembur, right?
Chembur.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we will be meeting up in the next interview with the next guest. Till then, keep listening Acharya 90 FM, your own radio.
Acharya 90 FM